So, good day everyone, especially to you Ma'am MJ. I am John Claro Dumo and I am tasked to report about the development of dance in the Philippines. So, let's start. We all know that Philippine dance has a long and rich history, right? During the early times, Philippine dances were based on myths. When we say myths, it is the superstitious beliefs of people that was being translated into dances, and also the traditions and daily lives of the common tao. The inclusion of dances in religious ceremonies can also be observed frequently in various localities. So one of the example of this is the Pasalamat Dance Festival that was a dance offered to our Almighty. Next, the traditional dance of Philippines, an art deeply rooted in the culture of its people and has gained international favor through years. So it has gained, or it was deeply rooted in the culture. When we say deeply rooted, it was being firmly founded in the culture of the people and has gained international favor because it was being presented internationally and was being appreciated and praised by people from the other country. And Philippine dance went through a period of difficulties and great strides forward. In 1920, it gained the love and attention of the people from around the world. So, next, the devoted efforts of Dr. George Bacobo and Francesca Reyes Aquino laid a firm foundation for the future leap of the native folk dance into the new age. So, these two individuals or people, so they are the individuals who lay the foundation. When we say foundation, they are the one who make the future of native folk dance into a history, or basta mo na to. So this period can rightly be said to be an age of blossoming for dance culture. Next is from 1920 to 1954, Philippine dance went through a lot of changes. So by this time, Philippine dance was having a lot of changes. And during this period, especially in 1950, exchanges with foreign cultures increase. So there are exchanges with foreign cultures. There are what do you call this? Panagbaylo sa mga cultures. In 1954, Dr. Bacobo and his companions attended the Asian Native Folk Dance Festival held in East Pakistan, in which they received a great amount of attention and praises. So I think this was the convention held in East Pakistan, and these two individuals were being praised by the people because they laid the foundation of native folk dance from the Philippines. So in 1957, the Bayanihan Dance Company was established as the performing arm of the Bayanihan Folk Arts Center. So following this, the Bayanihan Group performed in Bangkok, Rome, Paris, and Barcelona to show the country's native life and custom through dances. So we all know that this picture is Tinikling dance, right? So that was one of the example of the Bayanihan dance in the Philippines, or the Philippine folk dance. Next, the successful performances of the Bayanihan Group in the United States, Canada, and Asia, and Europe left a great mark on the history of Philippine dance. So other dance groups like Philippine Barangay Folk Dance Troupe and the FEU Dance Company followed the footsteps of the Bayanihan Group. So the FEU Dance Company, they follow the steps of this so-called Bayanihan Group. So in addition to that, there were many local dance groups who performed traditional dances in international hotels, such as events and so on. So, such as the Manila Hotel and Westin Philippine Plaza. So, this place was the place where where the traditional dance was held at that time. And the CCP Dance Company and Karilangan Dance Group were among this dance group. Next is the Philippine dance has overcome many difficult times, has been an important tool in promoting the cultural change. So this illustration was found in somewhere part in Luzon. I think it's in Benguet, Philippines. And so, the development of cinema in the Philippines following the historical events that influenced the development of Philippine cinema. So in January 1, 1897, Philippine cinema was said to have been introduced in the Philippines by the Spaniards. So the Spaniards by this time introduced the cinema. So a year after the Lumiere brothers initially showed their cinematograph. So when we say cinematograph, it is a technique that involves taking a series of photographs of moving objects or subjects at regular intervals and then combining them into a single image. The word comes from the Greek word chronos, which means time, right? So, chronophotography was invented in the 19th century by French physiologist Etienne Jules Méry. Méry used his technique to study the movements of people, animals, and mechanical objects. The Spanish equivalent of the French term cinematograph is chronophotographo, which was later changed into cinematographo and was later shortened to cine. So we all know what was cine, right? So I will not emphasize that one. Next is the picture. As you can see, this is the Lumiere brothers. And this picture was a model of Demini Gaumont chronophotograph. Next, 4 films were shown on a 60mm Demini Gaumont chronophotograph projector at the Salon de Pertiera at number 12 Escolta, Manila, where the Allman Jewelry Shop was formerly situated. So businessmen Liebman and Feritz installed the projector. So these two, they are the responsible, or they are the one involved in installing the projector in Escolta, Manila. So the film show was dubbed as the Espectáculo Científico del Pertiera, or the Pertiera Science Show, after the Senior Francisco Pertiera, a Spanish businessman, who imported the motion picture devices. So the 4 films were An Home Au Chopio, or also called Man with a Hat, the Uniscene the Dance Japones, Scene from Japanese Dance, and Les Boxers, or the Boxers, and La Place de l'Opera, or the Place of El Opera. So in January 2, 1897, this time is the local newspaper carried the announcement of the film screening. So the film screening was entitled El Comedio, Diario de Manila, La Vox Espanola, and El Español. So as we can observe, this term was from the Spanish word. So by this time, the Spaniards were involved in this. So the films lasted no more than 45 seconds, so it was being shortened. Each viewers were charged 50 centavos for cushion seats and 30 centavos for lunetas or benches. So overall, the people who attended this film or screening film charged 80 centavos at that time. In January 29, 1897, patronage to the film show began to decline, resulting in the lowering of admission price until Salon de Pertiera finally closed down. So that time, or that month of August, first week 1897, Antonio Ramos, a Spanish army officer, imported a Lumiere cinematograph along with 30 films. So that person was a great, because thank you.